Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope everybody's doing well this morning. So, good morning. Good morning. Get your coffee, get your cup of Joe. Yes, yes, yes. Come enjoy the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. We have people from all over the world already coming in. So, very blessed with that. Hope everybody's doing very well, from around the globe. We're here. We're just kind of the reason why I'm coming in late this morning. It wasn't because I wasn't up. It was because I was, just looking at different reports coming out yesterday, looking at information because I know that, with them searching and nobody knowing that people were searching for Summer Wells yesterday, obviously it makes you question, did they get information? Just a whole litany of speculation comes in as to why, right? And so we covered some of that speculation yesterday when we were going over the topic of Summer Wells and, did Don spill the beans and, just some catchphrases to get people's, thoughts and processes kind of going. So, I do like going in here and researching, what other professionals are saying. Duty Ron, Jennifer Coffin Daffer, she was an FBI gal. I like to see what the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has to say. They've been really tight lipped about this investigation, especially the one that happened yesterday. They said it was planned, and then we find out, because I watch other sites, especially with this new search of people that have law enforcement backgrounds and things of that nature. And, some of my previous speculation wasn't necessarily confirmed, but it was alleged in some of the other conversations that this could have been a search that was planned, literally a day in advance, a few hours in advance. Obviously they just don't willy-nilly go out there and just start searching it. Well, there was a planning process in it. It was just to what degree and how soon the planning started. So, what we were able to ascertain and find out from TBI and other, primarily TBI, is that this is a search that appears to be in a same area that they had previously searched. But again, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. If you like this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. We're just kind of touching base on the search that happened yesterday with Summer Wells. It doesn't, we were all monitoring the feeds, the police scanners and everything else like that yesterday. It sounds like Hawken County is pretty busy, for such a small county, right? I mean, we had people being pulled over right and left. So people need to slow down in Hawkins County, folks. Slow your butts down. I don't know how many people we heard that got pulled over yesterday. So, anyways, getting back to the search, it doesn't appear. We heard that there was possibly a backpack. We don't know if that was related to Summer Wells. On these police scanner channels, you don't know what case those are associated with. They could have been somebody that, somebody called them for, being at their house or something, and they were looking for an item that was missing. I mean, we don't know where that backpack that we heard came from. It doesn't appear, because if they would have found her, it would have spread like wildfire, like every other, case we watch and monitor. I mean, look at Serenity. We knew about that very, very quickly when they did finally find her. So I do believe that there was nothing found of substance in the Summer Wells case. Now, if there was some evidence found, would they be jumping to the bit to tell us? Probably not. I don't believe that if they did find anything out there that wasn't Summer Wells, they would be broadcasting it to us because of a number of reasons, right? A number of reasons. So I was just going over here through the Twitter channel just to see what all, people were saying. And I did want to bring up one of Jonathan Lee Rich's posts here just to kind of show you where the search was. So I'm just going to add that in now. So this was off of Bell Road. This is kind of where their search activities were going on. But again, it comes back to me saying, it's just awfully funny that, they keep circling back to the same area. That to me tells me something, whether law enforcement wants to acknowledge it, whether, other law enforcement, retired law enforcement wants to acknowledge it. It does tell me a little bit about something, right? Because it is 9 months in. They've been investigating for a substantial amount of time. There's a couple things, and after I was reviewing some stuff, it does make sense. So it does show you that this case is not a cold case. I mean, this is one thing I can state. It does make sense to me. Some other people put that out there, that by them going out here and searching yesterday, it does show that, Summer Wells is top of mind for TBI and the FBI. So I do believe that they are, but it also, with the speediness of this search, and the quietness of this search, which you do realize why they do it. And like I said, the other search was more broadcast. This one was very kind of under the radar. Nobody knew about it until it started. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And so it just makes you wonder, why did they get new information? Is somebody speaking to law enforcement? What information are they receiving that they will go back and research an area? Maybe they're not receiving any information at all. I mean, on the other side of that speculation spectrum, they may have just realized there was a huge flood, and maybe something's moved or washed down or something of that nature, and just thought, let's go out there and just check. Let's just go out there and check. And I know it's got to be super frustrating for these researchers and searchers for Hawkins County, TBI. If there was any FBI agents out there. I know that every time they go out there, they have to think that today's the day we're going to find her. And then, of course, they're also let down that, they can't find her. They can't, they haven't found anything. And it just makes you wonder, a lot of the things that I'm hearing on other channels, especially primarily there's a lot of retired law enforcement that has turned their attention to YouTube and using their experience, to guide people and search for people and help bring people home, which, God bless them for their previous service and their service after retirement. God bless every one of them. But it also kind of rings true that, it has been 9 months. Nobody has seen hide nor hair of Summer Wells. There's no reports coming in that people have seen her, at least to our knowledge, right? We don't get everything, but to our knowledge, there are no reports coming in saying, hey, we saw Summer's been spotted. We had that at the beginning of the disappearance, but not so much later on. And so 1-800-TBI find, that's where all legitimate leads need to go. So, it's 1-800-TBI find. So if you have this is not for speculation. I can tell you at 9 months in, they have literally looked at every possibility of speculation. So, from the fact that she could have been abducted, the fact that she could have just wandered off, the fact that there's foul play. And I can tell you more than not, my opinion of it is they're more focused on a foul play aspect than she just wandered off. And the reason why I come to that conclusion for myself personally is because of the actual days and man hours put forth at the beginning of the search, when she would have been closer to the house if she had just wandered off, right? My other, opinion about why I don't believe it was an abduction was because of several factors. Primarily, one, that property is not really conducive for an abduction. You have parking issues, you have logistical issues, getting up a mountain, grabbing a child, going back down a mountain. That highway, Beach Creek Road, is busy. People drive very, very fast on that road. And for people not to, notice or see a child being abducted just doesn't make sense. And even somebody had brought up the fact that somebody could have parked, where the shed was. But again, you're coming to the fact that you got to scale a mountain and cross. You got to, and that on that side of the mountain, the creek is further down. So you have the trough for the creek, but you still have to, it's still a pretty far distance from the bottom of the mountain to inside that creek just to cross. And then you got to crawl back up that creek to get back to the car that would have been at that shed. So it's and nobody would understand this unless they have been out to the property and have previewed the property. So yes, could a car have parked at where that shed was, where Marissa went in, where all that stuff, yes, they could have, but it would be very difficult with a kicking, screaming child, right? So there's no, in my opinion, easy way for somebody to have been abducted on this mountain. That's just, again, my opinion from me visually seeing that. And of course, with us, being investigative journalists and journalists in general, I'm a citizen journalist that does, putting my foot into the investigative journalist world. We go out there and try to, get people's input on what happened. And so that, that also dovetails into people that have information about the case, that have information about the case. And so we do those interviews, and we do bring some of those to you guys that are more benign in nature. We don't, if we do hear something that we feel is important in the case, we do not reveal that to the public, and we hand that over to law enforcement. And so that is what we try to do when we have an opportunity to give back. We do keep our lips shut. We do hand that over to law enforcement, and we do let them, if they feel that it's benign, and they wouldn't even let us know, but we just keep it hush hush. Some of those things will be coming out after this case is wrapped up, when it's no longer information that, we do take that responsibility. We do take responsible measures. Do we do everything right the first time? Of course not. That's not what we do. We're imperfect. We're human beings, just like everybody else, just like law enforcement, just like dogs, just like anybody else. Do we do it right the first time? No, but we do learn from a lot of things that we do from case to case. So with that being said, this search, we did hear about that backpack, and everybody's wanting to know about did they find a backpack? I can't answer that. I literally have no clue. Did we hear it on the scanners? Of course we did. Of course we did. Do we know if it was associated with the Summer Wells case? That's the problem. Because while many of you guys were probably listening on the police scanners, you heard about, I don't know, in the hour I was listening to, 100 different, traffic stops, this, that, and the other. We don't know whether it was associated with that. I'd have to believe that if they were out there doing an investigation, especially with TBI, they may have been on a different channel than the ones that we were monitoring with Hawkins County. That would probably be standard operating procedure, but I can't confirm that either, right? So that's all speculation. Cops said there was no evidence she was taken. Yeah, exactly, Jackie. No, there is no evidence that she was abducted. There is no evidence that she was abducted. We've heard that multiple times from several different agencies, not just TBI. TBI was the last one that came out. That I think they did that just to let people know that no, there's nothing here related to her being abducted. And if they really believed footprints around the property were hers, that would be evidence of an abduction. Just to let you know, right? So, good morning, everyone. No, I really don't. I don't think those boys were like that. I mean, I could be wrong. Everybody in that house appeared that they were subject subject to abuse. And sometimes the people that are subject to abuse become the abuser, right? So is it possible? I don't know. Boys and picking on your little sister, I don't know. You would think that there were some, disputes between the siblings, as any normal, sibling relationship. But to think that the boys did something to their little sister is just a little um, too far of a stretch for me to believe that they had anything to do with her. It really does. So I'm not sure. Good morning, Karen. So I'm not sure if that's the case. I really would hate to allege that, because they are children and they are victims of crimes themselves, child crimes themselves, at the hands of their parents. And so I don't like victimizing the victim. And that's the problem we come when we start thinking that that the brothers and had something to do with Summer's disappearance. That's my opinion. And not only that, if they did, they're not smart enough to know what to do with her, to hide her from her parents. It just does. None of that makes sense to me. When you play the tape through, it just doesn't make sense to me. Good morning, Island Vibes. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's see. I think it was an accident. That I do believe, based upon, we went to the water hole. We, spoke to Hunter's mom, grandmother, and great grandmother. We spoke to, obviously Don Wells many, many times. We had an interview with Dudley Jan. And we've had several key interviews with some people, and it does, when I first went out there, because we saw the violent history associated with not only Don but Candace Wells. We thought the worst for Summer, and so my mind was something more nefarious happened to Summer Wells. When I went there and spoke to people, and people went on the record for us, that changed. So I did start believing that it may have been an accident, or they didn't give her proper medical care when she needed it. Again, but that would have been an accident, negligence, nonetheless, but an accident. So that has changed in my mind. I don't believe something more nefarious happened to Summer. I truly do believe an accident happened, and Candace got scared, and that's truly what I do believe happened. Now, again, that's my opinion, and again, it's speculation. So it's speculation based upon information that I attained when I was in Rogersville, not once but twice. So it is it is concerning. It is still concerning, because at the end of the day, nothing should have happened to Summer. Her mom should have taken care of her, should have watched her, should have made sure nothing happened to her. And based upon the places they went, and I still keep coming back to, like, her feeding Hunter alcohol, and her going to the hippie house and Catch 22, which sold bongs and bowls, which are more in line with marijuana consumption, very limited nicotine products. And so it just calls into question. And not only that, but they didn't have those Skittles, that Skittle nicotine things that they say that Candace likes. She prefers a particular brand and a particular flavor of a vape, and it didn't appear that they had those there at either one of those places. Those weren't what those places were. They were more head shops, stuff that you can buy to smoke marijuana, or that Delta 8 at. Now, Delta 8 is a legal product, but we also found out that Delta 8 has the look, smell, and taste of marijuana. So let's see what we got going on here. The investigation does still remain active. Yes, that is true. Anybody with information. And the reason why I keep going over that, anybody with information, this is not, again, speculation. This is firsthand knowledge. This is, if you know of somebody that may have firsthand knowledge, if you have seen, real actual nuggets of information that you possess, those are the only leads, real leads, that need to go into 1-800-TBI-FIND. They don't need speculation. They don't need, did you check this? Did you check that? Do you know this? Do you know that? It is truly information that could help this case, such as, you saw Candace at this place at this time during this time in question. You saw somebody resembling, Summer Wells at this location. Real eyewitness information, not did you think to check this area, and if you do want an area check, why? What information led you to want that area checked? There's got to be something, and it has to be a legitimate lead. It just can't be because, you're curious. It has to be a legitimate lead so they can follow up on. This stuff takes a lot of resources for law enforcement to utilize. So we want to make sure that we're respectful of, as we all know, law enforcement is stretched thin as is. So we want to make sure that we are a benefit to law enforcement, not a hindrance. Let's see what we got going on here. Kids don't vanish in the middle of a CPS investigation. I agree with that. I mean, that's a little bizarre, but again, we can speculate all day long as to what that is, but there were 4 people involved in that CPS investigation and only one of them is missing. So I found it odd myself how close in proximity, but there's I had a law enforcement friend tell me one time that there's no such thing as coincidences, that, things happen for a very specific reason. But, over time, that was when I was way, way younger. And then over time, I realized that, there are coincidences that just don't make sense, that do occasionally happen, and that would be, is there a connection? Is there a connection? Because we have such poor opinion of the parents, we make that leap, right? But is that leap based upon because we know so much that the parents are kind of involved, or are we saying that because we truly, you see where I'm coming from? Like, I really don't know how to answer that. I find that odd. And I even find, remember when we had the interview with Dudley John, is it a John? Anyways, Dudley, he was talking about the day that he was fired, which was the day before Summer Wells went missing. He just actually discussed the behavior of Don Wells and how Don Wells was acting really odd. He was actually inside a tub, almost moping. And he actually even went a step further, Dudley did, to say that he thought maybe something happened the day before. But I think we have enough eyewitness testimony that, Summer was alive the day of the 15th. So I don't think it happened on the 14th. But what did kind of start rolling in my brain was maybe he was really upset because he knew CPS was coming the next day, and I think they were supposed to be there on the 16th. I think that they had just gotten notification that they were going to be doing a house check, and the house was completely trashed. I think because Candace has already went through her children being taken away once and her not ever getting them back. I think they kind of knew that when CPS, or DCS is what they call it up in Tennessee, DCS, Department of Children's Services, I think they realized that the kids were going to be removed from their home. And I think that's the reason why he had that weird behavioral change the day that Dudley was discussing it. And I also believe that may have been the reason why Dudley was actually fired. It wasn't over the money. I mean, Don did screw him on the money. I heard the voicemails myself. I need to get, with some parties. I've got them, but I need the recordings, the clearer recordings of his behavior. But it was a little, like, I was set back by the way he's talking to Dudley the day after his daughter was missing. And, did he fire him because he didn't feel like paying him, or did he fire him because he didn't want him, being questioned by DCS? I have no clue. I have no clue. But the proximity of when they were going to have a home check and when Summer went missing has kind of always, been in the back of my brain, but it's been, I don't know. It just, I feel like it's more of a coincidence than like connected, if that makes sense. That's just my opinion. Could they be connected? Of course. Could they not be? Of course. So that's the, must be different on all the phones, as it said. Oh. True. Okay, these parents are a trip. Are you kidding me? Like, I am still floored that Candace has her own YouTube channel, and people are saying, "Oh, she's got so many followers," because everybody's waiting for her to make a mistake. I mean, I guarantee every single news organization around the country, around the world, including people on this panel and in our chat, are probably monitoring like literally everything that she does on her channel. So if she's got a lot of followers, yeah, I can kind of see why she went from 1,200 to however many she's got right now. Like, everybody around the world is talking about her, is mocking her. I mean, there are some people that love her and feel sorry for her. I'm not, many of you guys know, I'm not one of those people. I have my opinions about them. What they made their children sleep in, and the conduct that they have had at that house. I am absolutely floored that those children weren't taken a lot sooner. I'm absolutely appalled that they were not taken a lot sooner. I feel like if the Department of Children and Family Services had done their job the way they were supposed to, Summer would still be alive, because she would have been removed from that home probably back in October of 2020. And that's what's so upsetting for me. We hear about all these cases. They're coming to light more and more about the atrocities going on in the alphabet soup of, children protective service agencies across the United States. And it's really bad. And the most innocent are affected when the Department of Children and Family Services, or the alphabet soups in these departments across the country, fail. The most innocent of innocent are the victims of this. They're already the victims by being in those horrible situations that their parents have created for them. And then they're re-victimized because CPS doesn't do anything for them, or, waits too long. Or the other flip side is takes them out, gives them stability, and then throws them back into the garbage that they saved them from. So it's like, it's frustrating for me. It really is frustrating for me, because you hear something like Oakley Carlson, which is a beautiful, beautiful baby girl that's gone. She's disappeared, and most likely something nefarious happened to her. And she was in a loving foster home. We had Mama Bear of 10 in here yesterday, which appeared to really love her foster kids and took her foster parenting's responsibility. She had high regard for that, and in helping these children, some that are really a handful, and it's a labor of love. Trust me, it's not for the money. A lot of people say that these foster parents and stuff get money for the children. You're right, they do get money, but I can guarantee they get a lot less money than they should. So, I just wish there's so many things that go through my mind about how to fix the issues, but knowing the government and how long it takes to get anything done, is just it's heartbreaking. And almost it's heartbreaking. Mhm. Yeah. Well, Dubai, I mean, yeah, there are, I guess there are, situations, but again, this wasn't, I don't believe this was one of them. I mean, their house is not high. She have fallen and broken a bone? Yeah, but I don't see a broken bone. Um, like I said, it is possible, but not, in my opinion, not probable, not probable. It's possible, we do. There has been a lot of allegations, especially with Don's past. But again, those are allegations; they've never been confirmed. But there's been a lot of allegations that Don Wells may have sexually assaulted his daughter. There is no proof of that, unfortunately. There is none. Could there have been if Department of Children and Family Services um, investigated? We don't know. We really, really don't know. Has he been accused of sexually assaulting others in the past? Absolutely. We all heard about it in Utah. There's an investigation into Don Wells right now for sexually assaulting his stepsisters and other people in his family. So those are real allegations. But again, they're in the investigative stage. We always want to support the victims, including his sisters. I would never victim shame or anything like that. I've actually had a messenger conversation with Mary. I believe her name was Mary, one of his sisters that are accusing him, of this conduct from way back when. They all got together and decided that it was time for them to come out to let him know, because just I think the reason why they did it is maybe they felt in their heart that Summer could have been assaulted in that way, and they wanted it on the record of what happened to them. So I don't know. I don't know. None of us do, right? Could it be speculated? Of course, it could be speculated, but speculation does not necessarily mean truth. So let's see here. I agree. Good morning. Yeah, stairs or even the side of that mountain. Like there was when we went to that mountain, there's no guardrail around that mountain. And I talk all the time about how steep it is going down. And not only that, but we've seen when we were there, we saw a lot of toys, including like a little, girly tricycle, one of those plastic, like Fisher Price um, little bikes off the side of the mountain, down the mountain. And I have to think the reason why those toys weren't picked up is because it was hard for people to get to them, right? It was too hard to get to them. So I mean, yeah, she could have fallen. She could have injured herself. They were out at that water hole. Many people, including myself, feel like something happened out there. We assume that it's drowning, but it could have been something else. I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know. But I can tell you, it just feels like with Hunter coming back and never being the same again, and Candace having almost PTSD like symptoms out there, it just keeps coming back to that water hole. And then when it comes to searching for her, it just seems like it keeps coming back to the areas in and around their home. So with law enforcement, and that in and of itself is a telling sign to me. Um, to me, that's a telling sign to me. Good morning, Ronnie. So let's just keep going if I can get my mouse to work. Good morning, warriors. Thank you, Ilmel. Good morning. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you're doing well, well, well. So let's just get over here, see what we got going on here. So it can make you test positive on a drug screen too. Let me see what you're. Sorry, I missed something, Amy. Oh yeah, and that I'm glad you said it. That probably killed it because first of all, I can tell you that I don't think marijuana consumption um, it could ever be a lethal amount to kill a kid. I mean, drowsy, yes. Could they be disoriented and something happen? Yes. There's those possibilities, but I don't think if she did have some secret candy that she wasn't supposed to have, if I think that she was, uh, that she would have succumbed to those. I just don't believe that. But, this makes sense. That could be a possibility. But I really don't believe that those Skittles in the back of the truck were the funny kind of Skittles. I could be wrong, but I just don't believe it. I believe that they're candy. But what makes me so upset about that day is that child had literally no food all day long. Not one time did Candace, and still to this day, has ever said she fed her that day. And it makes me wonder how long previously before she had any food. You know, could this be a nutritional issue? I mean, seriously. Some people have been putting some videos out, and again, it comes from YouTubers. So, this is only their speculation, but they do have a good argument. There was some I don't remember who put it out, but it was showing Summer Wells being exhausted and tired in just about every single one of the previous photos over that last previous, I want to say 5 weeks prior, leading up to her disappearance. She wasn't looking that healthy either. And it makes me wonder what was really going on with her. Did she just have underlying medical conditions? Was she being starved? I just don't know. Sad nonetheless. EquiSearch was on duty, Ron, last night. Yes. And I found that's what I was listening to this morning, too. I was listening to EquiSearch and everything like that. What a great organization EquiSearch is. And they actually have a fundraiser going on right now to help EquiSearch Midwest, which has raised, I think, $17,000, if I'm not mistaken. On Duty Ron's page, he has a link if you guys want to donate to EquiSearch to their, their searching. They don't get into the legalities of anything. They don't try, and I think they expressed this several times. They don't try to solve the case whatsoever. They try to bring the victim home. And, they have a very unbiased approach, very good organization, in my opinion, and definitely deserve all the love and support from the true crime community as much as possible, because they do a lot of work and put a lot of resources into these searches. And we want to get kudos to them. So anybody that wants to, I don't have the link in front of me. If one of my mods can get it, anybody that would like to donate to EquiSearch, please do so. They are a great organization. One thing that I got out of it last night was, and I don't want to put anything into anybody's mouth, but he did describe his first encounter with Don and Candace. And to me, it just, again, reading between the lines, this is not what they said by any stretch of the imagination. I want to get this disclaimer out there because I don't want to say anybody coming and saying, oh, she said, you said. No, I didn't. I'm reading between the lines. But it sounded to me like even EquiSearch had a problem with Don and Candace. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it, but it does appear to me that, even Don didn't want them. It keeps coming back to Don and Candace. And when you have an organization like EquiSearch, and you don't want, normal parents want anything and everything. If you can help search for their child, they want to be involved, and they want you involved. They want anything. I mean, anything that you can bring to the table to help find their loved one, they want. And it sounded to me, they had just a brief conversation about this on Duty Ron. I haven't even gotten through the entire segment there. I go to bed early. I was in bed last night was really exhausted. So I was in bed, I want to say by 8 o'clock last night, my time, 8 o'clock. And didn't get up until like a quarter after 6 this morning, which is not, it's just unheard of. It just means I'm burning my candle at both ends when I, go to bed that early and sleep in that late. So, but I do feel rested. At any rate, I was going through that whole segment because I missed it. I even set my reminder for it, but I ended up falling asleep by accident and missed the entire thing. So I was reading it this morning, but it sounded to me like I think it's Dave Ryder. If I'm making my sign, I know it's Ryder, but I think it's Dave Ryder. Had met with Candace and Don, and he even went as far as to say, despite my opinion, if I recall correctly, that's what he was saying. Despite my opinion about it, we're here to search for a girl, even if they didn't want the help. It would not have stopped the work that we would do to help find her, and which is more. I applaud EquiSearch for being in that mindset. It doesn't really matter whether they they like the parents, don't like the parents, whether they love the parents, don't love the parents. They're not there for the parents. It's not about the parents. It's only about the victim. It's only about finding that child. It's only about finding the missing when it comes to EquiSearch. And I do applaud them for that. But it does sound to me in just that little bit that there was some kind of issue. And of course, we run into that issue as well when we were dealing with Don. So, yeah. Had to live with that. She was 6 years old. That seems. Good question. That's a great question. I have no idea. I really have no idea and we've watched some of his previous videos, and he seemed to. I mean, in my opinion, let me start off. In my opinion, I looked at some of his previous stuff, and he seemed weird to me. And we see that everybody replays that video. What does that mean? Where Robin Lane was saying, "Oh yeah," and Tim Mullins does the website, and he's like, put his hand up to it. Was that for something else? Was that, did he want to stay out of sight, out of mind? I don't know. It seemed to me like, I don't know. I really just don't know. I mean, I can speculate all day long, but I've never known a media manager that doesn't want to talk to the media. I don't know how many times Jonathan reached out to him for a statement, and he did not want to provide a statement. When we were in, Tennessee, he was willing to meet with us, but stood us up. Just a weird, odd guy. I mean, for somebody that wants to be a media manager but doesn't want to speak to media is, I don't know, just doesn't make sense to me. I have no earthly idea why he injected himself into this. And I have no idea why he, for somebody that's classifying themselves as media, wants nothing to do with media, right? He was supposed to be their HR guy, their media guy. And I don't get what his job description was. I really don't. Because when you're a media person, it goes into more than just making the videos. I mean, you're the face of that family. Well, he's not the face of that family. He's not, it was really Don Wells that was the face of that family. So let's see. Yes. Oh yeah. I know we want to. It's because when we met with law enforcement in Rogersville and at the Hawkins County, we were speaking with the lead detective in this case. And the lead detective, he was kind of taken back because people are calling in and said, "Hey, do you think you should bring in helicopters?" And it's like, they've already been flying helicopters over the property and over, areas of interest. And it wears on them when they start getting, these it's not even a tip. It's basically saying, did you think to do this? And I think even EquiSearch hit on it. Like people are saying, why aren't people going into the water? Why aren't they going in? Had to explain all that. And it's stuff like that. You really want to make sure that we're not speculating, that we're really bringing facts and tips that they can follow up on. And we don't want to waste the resources, because if they're looking into a speculative tip and a real tip comes in, you just taken them away from um, real work to go on you know, a scavenger hunt, basically. We don't want to do that to law enforcement. We need to respect law enforcement, and we need to respect their resources as much as possible. If you have a valid tip, please call it in to 1-800 TBI Fine. Please call it in to 1-800 TBI Fine. Let's see what else we got here going on here. On a side note, for all of the Olivia, the Chronicles of Olivia fans, today is her birthday. So please, please, please go over to her YouTube page and let her know you're thinking of her and tell her happy birthday. Today, my friend, I'm not going to tell her age, is a year older, and we are so happy to have her. We are so happy to be friends, family. I mean, we all have just become a tight-knit family, I have to say, and I am so happy for her. I hope she has a wonderful, wonderful birthday. But today is Chronicle of Olivia's birthday, so make sure you guys stop by and tell her happy birthday. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Again, that's speculation. I have no idea. I just know, when I looked at some of the other work he did, I just scratched my head, and this is before Summer went missing, and I just scratched my head, and I'm like, what is this? Who is this guy? Like, it's weird. Some of the stuff he did was weird. Gotta say, it's my opinion. Jackie, I don't think law enforcement would have said that. I don't, if we heard that, it would have only been coming from one way. It would only been coming from like Don or Candace. It wouldn't have come from law enforcement. Law enforcement, if you've noticed, has never told us the type of questions that they've ever asked them. So do I know? I mean, they may have, if they had him in a room and was pressuring him, could that question have come out? Maybe, just to see what his body language was, being shocked. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they ask these, they want to either know the answer, or they just want to see what their body language is saying. So, did they say that? I don't know. That's the first time I heard that. I can tell you that. That's the first time I heard that, if that helps. But I can tell you, when we talked to law enforcement, and again, we spent a total of, I think, 4 hours over a 2-day period with the law enforcement agencies, Hawkins County detective, and the other gentleman. I can't remember his name. I've got their names, but I can't remember. I haven't sent them stuff in a bit. But they never said anything like this. They kept tight-lipped. I can tell you that. When we met with them, it was a one-way information stream. It was what we had to give to them and to go over, explain it all to them, versus them telling us any information. They did not tell us any information. So they were actually surprised that we were able to get some of the information that we got. But either way, we did turn that all over to them. I just don't see the Skittles being, it's very hard to overdose. I mean, out of all these years and all the cannabis that's been out there, and, children getting a hold of it, I've heard of children getting very sick. I have yet to hear of a child overdosing on Skittles. The, medicated Skittles, so to speak. I don't see it. I personally don't see it happening. Is it possible that it could happen? it's probably possible, but I mean, it'd take a lot more than one bag of Skittles to do that. I would presume. Um, as of yet, anybody that's ever died of marijuana, I mean, it's very, very. I don't think I've personally heard of anybody dying on marijuana, young or old. Um, I'm sure somewhere out there is somebody that has passed away from marijuana overdose, but I've never heard of it. I just haven't. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love Brooks. I love Brooks, and I called Kevin Frank yesterday, and I think it was because of another case that I'm working on with Ruth, the son-in-law's Frank. But anyways, I like that channel. It's nice, and they get their point across, and it's a fun chat. I've been many people know I really don't follow a lot of these YouTube channels and stuff like that, and everybody's been getting on me saying maybe you should not only just supporting the true crime community, but also just seeing what other people are saying. And I'm just like, yeah, you're right. But it's kind of funny because I don't go to like too many channels, but I do like her channel. I like Crime Stories Obsessed. I like her channel. I like Duty Ron. I like Chris McDonough. There are several channels that I really, really, really like, and I love watching. And they don't always just cover the Summer Wells case, which I appreciate, because I feel like some people just hooked into Summer Wells and just don't. There's so many other things going on. This Summer Wells case is still, obviously they are still investigating and everything like that, but there are so many other people while we're waiting in between information segments on Summer Wells that we could really be shining a light on and discussing their case and helping others as well. And that's what I try to do. I try to flip that over, and there for a little bit I was just covering a little bit of Serenity McKinney, and then Harmony Montgomery, which I had been discussing quite some time over at least several segments about the factors, the commonality between Harmony, Summer, and Serenity. And it comes back to their parents, the parents, the drugs, the violence in the home. And it's super, super sad. And I feel like all three of those babies' faces that I was looking at, have all met their demise. And that is the most heartbreaking and gut-wrenching thing that I can think of. Our children in this country and around the world are the most innocent of the innocent. And for somebody to abuse them, it makes me sick. And it makes me, quite frankly, angry. And, I always try to figure out what can I do to help, and sometimes it's just bringing attention to the case. Sometimes it's, going down there and looking, searching. We try to do fact finding, but we also, we pull up maps, we look at probable locations, and, it's crazy. So, I don't know if we're going to go down and look at the Harmony Montgomery case. I would really like to, but, it takes a team. And right now we're down one team member while she's doing another job. And so we're going to be getting it back together. But right now she's out of pocket. She can't leave this area. She just can't. She's got other obligations. So it's kind of, we're trying to keep it local right now. But we have things in the pipeline. We have things in the pipeline that we're eager to get out there. We're raising money for right now to get to 2 different locations. And of course, it makes it difficult because we can't even talk about them because you guys know what we went through, So it's one of those things where it's going to probably have to be the fundraising after the fact, after we get back. But there are some things in the pipeline that I think you guys will really enjoy. I'm hopeful that we bring Summer Wells home. I really do. I want nothing more than to find Summer Wells so she can be, and I hate saying this, but at this length of time, properly put to rest. There are more, she has a lot of family and friends that love her. And that's with Candace and Don set aside. There is still a family there. There's still friends there. She has her brothers. Um, so there's a lot going on. Um, a lot of people are affected by this case, not just us, but a lot of close people to Summer have been absolutely affected by this, and it's sad. And I've talked about it many times. There's a whole line of victims of Don and Candace Wells in the wake of Summer. A lot of victims, and anyways. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, he should. He should, because I sent that off to people and they were very, very concerned of that photo, primarily the cuticles. Again, I did that early on in this because, to be honest with you, I didn't think that the photo was real. Um, and then when it was confirmed by multiple sources that the photo is in fact real, I thought it was photoshopped, but it wasn't. And so they agreed that the cuticles and the swelling of the hands. There's a lot of other um, key factors on that photo that call into question, the health of Summer Wells during that video. And then, what vehicle were they in? I think that is like the million dollar question: is what vehicle were they in when that video was taken? What video or what vehicle? I'm curious because Don Wells said that he wasn't there, but he slipped up many times on the phone with me a few. The last time we saw Summer, and it's like, wait a minute, Don, you said you were at work. How did you see her? So, and this is a case of two parents that chose to go out and make spectacles of themselves after their daughter went missing. They never really kept it to Summer Wells. They never, even when I was on the phone with Don, he kept redirecting our conversation from Summer to the atrocities going on around the country, the stuff going on in North Korea, other missing children. He never ever really wanted to discuss Summer Wells. He never ever really wanted to. He kept saying, she's not coming back to me. She's not coming back. And he had already had his mind made up multiple times and stated it multiple times that she was not coming back and she was not coming back alive. And basically, it's time to move on to other cases and help other people. And that has always stuck in the back of my mind. And it's always, given me pause. And it's always, helped solidify that he knows more than he's saying. But, it just, I get angry when I think of parents, and then I start looking into these parents, looking into the statistics and find out that 450 children lose their life at the hands of their parents every single year. That to me is alarming. I never knew. None of us ever knew. When did we hear? I mean, and this has been going on. I think they started this research back in 1999. When have we, as the public, ever heard that 450 children die at the hands of their parents every year? When has that even been broadcasted? It's scary. How is the public? How does the public not know this information? I hear it. I hear it. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing. Yeah. Everybody is. Everybody is. Somebody came in here. Candace has more subscribers than you. Yeah, because the whole world's watching her. That's not something I would want subscribers for, as I have a missing daughter and everybody's watching me to make a mistake. That's whatever. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. I have not heard that, but I haven't taken a deep dive into Tim Mullins. But I do believe there have been a few that taken deep dives in, and this is I haven't heard that, so I don't know. I don't know. It's possible. Amy saying no, that was Ernie's brother. Oh, thank you, bye. Thank you. Yeah, I got up early this morning and felt good, so decided not to present my bedhead with you. But the reason why I do that is I like everybody knowing that they can come as they are to this channel. Even me, I can come as I am. Some days I'm put together perfectly, and some days I'm just not. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's okay. It's okay to be you. So I hope that I convey that in this, in this channel. There's a lot that goes into it. But I think primarily being yourself and being comfortable in your own skin, no matter what day of the week it is super important as well. Yeah. But my thing is it doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are. You don't have to live in filth. I mean, what they put those children through in that home was absolutely horrific. People don't live like that. Some people do, but they shouldn't be having children. I mean, if you have children, you have to protect your children. And she was think about this. She was a stay-at-home mother. She had nothing better to do with her time than take care of her home and her children. And if that doesn't show you the epic failure that Candace was at both of those things, I don't know what will. There is a reason why the state, I mean, many of us never deal with the state. Many of us have, a lot of parents here has never had the Department of Children and Family Services show up at their home, let alone having two sets of kids taken from them. That should tell you about how the government feels about Candace and Dawn, primarily Candace's ability to parent, right? Even the ones that have had children and family services don't have their children taken. This lady has had two sets of kids taken. The only child that hasn't been taken from her is missing. Honestly, I haven't even watched him. I literally pay zero attention to that man. I think he is just weird. Some people have sent me to a video he did for Summer, and I think Dawn. I think it was more geared toward Dawn and Candace than it was toward Summer. And with the music and it almost felt demonic, in my opinion. I don't know how to describe it other than that. After that, I have not turned that his channel on. I have not watched one video. Um, I don't know what else to say than that. But yeah. I don't know, and it's sad because I was just on Ernie's show. If you're talking about rescue our children, I was just on his show, and I've heard people say some bad things, but people say it's hard for me to decipher what is true and what is not true because so many people have come after me and have said some horrible things that were absolutely not true. And has spread this false narrative. So, because that has happened to me, it makes me step back and gauge, is this information accurate? Is this truthful? Because of the lies that were perpetrated upon me in an effort to take my channel down, primarily because of this case, this Summer Wells case, and the fact that there are some people out there that want to almost corner the market or bully you from covering a case, which I think is sick and twisted and demented. And it didn't stop me from covering the case. Did I take a lot of heat? I sure did. Did I go through a lot of trauma because of it? I sure did. But I'm also cognizant of the what they will do to move you on and move you out. And because of that, it makes me pause when I start hearing horrible things being said about other people. I don't know if they're true. I have not looked into them personally myself. But I also don't believe other people when it comes to what they say about other YouTubers and stuff like that because of what I have experienced here. So I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I mean, people will flat out lie to you in your face. People that you trust. People that you trust because they don't want to acknowledge that they've done something wrong or that you're going up the right alley, you know, so they just want to take you out at all costs. If they don't like you, they want to butcher you. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I can tell you that I was on, if you're talking about Rescue Our Children, I've watched him literally one time. He brought me up on his panel. It was about, you know, the cyberbullying on YouTube. It was a great topic, in my opinion. And so it makes me very cautious when I hear stuff about other YouTubers. Yeah, even you know, even one that I actually partnered with that ended up being, you know, I heard horrible things about this person and still, you know, went to bat. And, you know, what can I say? I had to learn a lesson. Sometimes things you hear are true, and sometimes the things you hear aren't true. Yeah, and you know what's crazy is because I have a lot of people know I have a lot of respect for like somebody like Michelle After Dark. Does she agree with me 100%? Do I agree with her 100%? Of course not. None of us really agree 100% on things. You know, we all are kind of guilty of, you know, formulating our own opinions based on our own past experiences and things that we've lived through or experiences, right? That we know are facts. So we apply those things differently when we're discussing these cases. You know, somebody like Michelle After Dark, she wants us to move past this drowning. I'm not 100% sure that this didn't happen. So, you know, it's still on my list of possibilities of what has happened to Summer. There's also other possibilities. I still believe it was an accident. I still believe it was due to negligence from her mother. You know, but then it starts worrying me when we start finding out that there was the possibility of Don actually being home at the time, you know, and that he could have potentially went back to work. You know, these are all speculative things, and I can't, and I can't at any point prove one way or another because the only thing that is provable based upon the information that I've received from people in and around the wells is that he truly, in fact, was at work. But then you got, you know, you hear these stories about when you look at that photo in the interior of that vehicle, and it really doesn't match other vehicle interiors other than Don Wells. And then it starts putting in your brain, now, was he there? And then you go back and listen to the interviews you had with him, and you start hearing these slips about, you know, last time we saw her, and I'm like, are those slips? Are those accidents? Are those mistakes? Or is he accidentally letting me know that he was there when she disappeared? You know, so you're kind of looking at it from that angle as well. So I really don't know. Let's see. Thank you. Guys, I have to tell you, this is the best seller on the Bullhorn Betty merch site. This is the official coffee club cup for the Bullhorn Betty channel. Please, if you haven't, go support this channel, support me, and buy yourself a coffee cup and enjoy our morning meetings. It's sad. It's sad. I gotta say, it's super, 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 super sad. But you know, some of these we've heard. I mean, look at all the stuff that's been coming out. Like there's a lady that drowned. Nobody found her. She disappeared off the face of the earth. You know, back I want to say 15 or so years ago. They just dredged the pond. They found her. They found her car. She was in her car. I don't know if she intentionally did that or if she did that by accident. But things. I do believe things come to light, and I just really wish that they will eliminate all the possibilities so they can start arresting the Wells on unrelated charges to Summer. There was a lot of abuse in that home. There was a lot of alcohol being given to children in that home. There were a lot of things that should never have happened going on in that home, and they should be held accountable for that. And it's very upsetting to me that, while other states understand that and arrest the parents immediately, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations has let these parents go unscathed and unaccountable for the atrocities that they've done to their children over the years without holding them accountable. And that is very upsetting to me because both of those parents should be sitting in jail. And that's my opinion. And I'm not coming off of that opinion until somebody brings me some different evidence, because based on what I saw, they should be in jail. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hi, Betty Fan. Good question. Good question. Everybody's wondering, who's gonna spill the beans first, and it may not even be them. Like there's other things going on behind the scenes. I mean, you've got, I'm sure that their sons are going through intense, not intense training, but intense psychological, stuff to help them. Psychiatrists do appointments like that because of what they lived through, trying to break that cycle for them. And then you've got Hunter over there, going through something similar, getting himself balanced and on medication and things of that nature. Again, another victim of the Wells. And it makes you wonder, what is going on? Who is speaking? It could be a number of people, a number of witnesses, actual witnesses in this case. But I have to say, I still find it odd that they keep circling back to the same area. They keep circling back to the same area. So they have to believe that foul play is more involved in this case than anything else. And they have to believe that she is out there. So we're just going to keep praying for law enforcement. And we're going to keep praying for law enforcement. We're going to keep praying for Summer Wells. We're going to, at the end of the day, I think everybody that covers this case, at the end of the day, all we want is her brought home. That's where all of our eyes and our hearts and our focus is bringing her home. I also want the people responsible held accountable. And I want them held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I think Don is very reserved. I mean, he's a little, he gets drunk and loosey goosey, but I still think he is very much reserved in who he trusts. He's enough criminal to know not to trust anyone. He's enough of a criminal to know not to trust anybody. So I don't even think he would tell his best friend if he had anything to do with it, to be honest with you. I really don't. He knows better. Let's see here. That mattress looks like it's possible. It's possible. Everything's possible, it's whether it's probable or not. I know that bed was disgusting and no child should have slept on it. I'm sorry. My mother was, we had many of you guys know about my upbringing. There was a lot of trauma in it, but my mom was a white glove, clean lady. Like, there ain't no way. Yeah. I think that's what they've been doing this whole time. If you notice, every time they got a little close to Dawn, the powers that be, the, sympathizer would throw, well, what about this guy? This guy wasn't even in the area, but hey, it had to have been him. It just, Keep going. Yes, the mattresses alone looks like a crime scene. It does. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. And to think that that child had to live on that, it's despicable, you know. And that's what I try to say, even to the people that don't believe Candace and Don had anything to do with the disappearance of their child. What about how they treated their children before she disappeared? Why aren't they angry about that? Why aren't they angry about the garbage that they made those kids sleep in? The dungeon they made those kids sleep in. I mean, why aren't people angry about that? You know, these people chose drugs and alcohol over taking care of their children. You know, even if you don't think they had anything to do with their daughter, you don't go slapping their knob because you feel sorry for them. They caused a lot of this problem themselves. It's just, it's irritating to me. I don't know. It depends on where Jody Sue's home was on her property. These properties are not small properties, and she said she did hear. It did sound like she did have some type of visual to the home, but I can guarantee it wasn't like a 180 or a 360 view of their property. There's a lot of woods there. During this time of the year, I would assume that all these trees had the leaves on them. They were thicker, they were more lush, and bringing that visual, the sight, it would have degraded that sight line. So I do believe something happened, and I do believe because Jody Sue was very specific on this time, and I do believe something happened, and I don't understand. It almost seemed like Candace was adamant that there was no scream, and it's like Jody Sue is adamant that there was. So, it just it's odd. I kind of believe Jody Sue in the fact that she did hear something enough. I mean, nobody forgets, um, something that made them stand up and look out their window. If it's gotten to that point where you stand up and look at your window, you know what you heard, you know what you saw. So, yeah. Let's keep going here. Try to see they had drug money they could. Yeah. Mm. I agree. I don't. I have never seen anything. I really haven't. But we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know how many times she's had to come up to their office. We don't know how many times they have put the screws to her. We don't know. We don't know. I can tell you that based on people and witnesses in the area, they don't see her leave that house very much. So it calls into question: is she really doing everything she can to get her children back? The boys back. I don't want to ever see her um ever get those boys back. I think after having two sets of children ripped from your hands, it is not worth the risk of putting any more children in your care. I'm sorry. It's not worth the risk. When you become too high risk to take care of children, children are the innocent of the innocent. I'm sorry. You don't get to try, bite at the apple the third time. I mean, you've had to bite out the apple two times and one of your children are missing. Like, we're done. We're done. I really do believe. But I do believe that they need to be doing something more. And God knows what they're. We don't know what who's going in and visiting Don Wells while he's in jail. We don't know. According to Candace, she's having phone calls with him. And they're fighting a lot over the phone calls because of the men that Candace is hanging out with. So who knows? I mean, one of them are alleging that people are writing Don, putting things in his mind. I don't know. I have not written Don. I can tell you that. I don't know who has written Don. I have not heard of any writing campaigns to Don. I'm just saying that I think it's very, very foolish for a prime person of interest in the disappearance of their own child probably should not be creating or maintaining a YouTube channel. Just saying. Clearly, she does not have an attorney. That I can tell you. We did not see Island Vibe. We did not see Hunter. We did not have a personal, conversation with Hunter. We did meet his mother, his grandmother, and his great grandmother. And we had over an hour conversation with all three of them. So if that helps. Yeah, and I don't understand why they're not feeding these children. I mean, we listened to her entire story over and over and over again, and how many places she went and where they went. And not one time did they say, "Oh, we went and got a burger," or "I went and got some food, some real food, some food that she could eat and digest." It was slushies and Skittles and garbage and junk. And I'm sorry, a bag of Skittles is not food for a child. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see what's going on here. I got some stuff going on here. Thank you, Ronnie. Patricia, if you're in here, I did get your text messages. I'm sorry, I ended up falling asleep early last night, so I apologize for not getting back to you, but I'll get back to you just as soon as I get off of here. We're almost through this show, so but it's just sad. So thank you, Anissa. Thank you. Yeah. And that's been what I've been stating. And again, I stated that because I had, people that I knew and trusted look at that photo. And, at the time, everybody was focused on the stain on her shirt that dripped on the, latch. And they're like, that could literally be anything. That is not what you need to be focusing on. That could be drool, that could be, soda, that could be, you don't know what that is. It's you can't determine it, and they brought me right to the fingers and said this would be the most problematic issue right here, and it explained it to me. I don't remember verbatim exactly how it was explained to me, but it was explained to me that I remember saying, "Oh my God, are you serious?" Like it was pretty bad, and they told me that it was due to lack of oxygen, and they had terminology for it. Again, I can't tell, I'm not a doctor. um, they had the terminology for it, and they also basically stated that her lower extremities are not getting blood. So that was what was conveyed to me on a stupid terms. you know um, like, I'm stupid when it comes to medical. Give me legalese, I'm fine with it. But you start talking medical terms, I mean, I really don't say them properly, so I don't try. But basically, it's a lack of oxygen and lack of blood getting to the lower extremities, which means that they're in the process of dying or already expired, but their heart is not being able to pump blood throughout, so it starts pumping and keeping the blood in and around itself. So that is the dumbed down version of what we're seeing in that photo, or at least in what was conveyed to me that we are seeing in that photo. So I'm not sure who would have blocked you for bringing up. First of all, a lot of the stuff that we go over is speculation. Many people know that we don't have the information. We don't have law enforcement communicating with this channel directly. So we put pieces together. Now, I don't know why anybody would block you or say it's false information. First of all, there was a search that was conducted. We were all listening in on the police scanner. And again, we don't know what went where, right? So I'm not sure. I'm the one who brought it up. Information out yesterday about what they found. Yeah, and we heard it all on the police scanner, but we don't know because there were so many things going on. I went back and listened to it. There were so many things going on. We don't know if that was even associated with that search. We just hear these things coming up. We heard that, there was possibly, just like every other person, I even went over on a J for Justice, we all heard that something was found, but we don't know if it was associated with Summer Wells. Does that mean it's false? No, it means that we're trying to find out information and dig around. So I'm sorry that people went there and stuff like that. But, again, there are a lot of people out there that just don't like the work that we do here and, would rather be rude and nasty than just move on. So I don't know what to tell you. I apologize that you went through that, June. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt the child. It wouldn't. I am expressing. I don't believe it would be fatal. Agree to disagree. You may have different information. I'm just telling you, this is not the first time a child's gotten into their parents' medication, marijuana medication, and if she so much did, and you got to remember that this is in this area, you can't buy marijuana. They have what is known as what is it, Delta 8, which from my understanding is not marijuana. So again, it gives you the feeling and everything, but it's not. Now I don't know, how strong, potent, or anything like that is, but even if she did get into some funny beans, it's not your normal marijuana strength funny beans. I can tell you that because Delta 8 probably, even though it smells, tastes, and looks like marijuana, is not near as strong or potent as marijuana. That I could be wrong. People can correct me, but that's just my opinion. What do you mean? Not sure. Saints Rocketall. I haven't even seen you post anything. I'm trying to go through all these and pull them up. I don't know what you mean. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. People they are and they attack supporters and members of this channel. I mean, that's if they can't get what they want, some people are just nasty. Nothing I can do about it. It shows their character. But everybody wants to come over here and be able to beat me up. Oh, thank you. Beat me up all the time on my own channel, and I don't block them. Kick them out. And I go through my blocks quite often. Yeah, her ribs were showing. Yes. She was malnutrition. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. What do you think about Candace telling? I found that quite odd, but she did say she has all she needs, not all she wants. She really wants her kids back home with her. That's what she said. But again, it was after she made the statement and then she backtracked. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, she just goes around and makes her rounds and talks to the people that want to hear her talk. And, even the people that are happy to have her on their show are like, you got to be careful how you say things because people will come and I can already hear it now. People are going to come and tear your statement apart. Yeah. Yeah. We're all looking for information. We are all looking for what happened. Many of us believe they're responsible. So why wouldn't we be tearing every little thing that they say apart? I mean, some people want to stick to Finding Summer. Some people want to stick to just total speculation. Some people are in between, where we want the truth about what happened. Plus, we want to go out and help find Summer. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be cookie cutter in this world of YouTube. I am not a cookie cutter. Never have been. I'm an acquired taste. Many of you guys know that. So it is what it is. I haven't watched Tim's YouTube. I mean, outside of a couple that were sent to me by followers of mine, he just seemed weird. I don't like it. It seemed so insignificant. It was a waste of my time. Well, the chain cut up. There was a hole like this big in the chain link fence. It's hard. Not only that, I mean, the chain link fence was 3 feet tall, maybe 4 feet. Like you could put it. Why would they have to cut through the gate of the chain link fence? It does. They could just hand stuff over back and forth. We were there. This, a lot of people left to their own thoughts may think something more in it, but that hole in the fence looked more like damage in the fence versus intentional. And on the other side of that fence, there was a bunch of houses. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a bunch of houses directed right at that spot in the gate. So I mean, I'll have to look up the video, but I'll get the video out and show you. But that whole thing just doesn't. There was some weird, the land timber in front of his mom's grave site, which is where the hole in the fence was, and it was at a different grave site than the one right directly across the street from the Wells property. And so the difference is that land timber, even though they planted a plant in the middle of it, it looked odd. I have to admit, we looked all over there. Nobody else had set up a plant like that before. But the ground underneath that was super, super hard, almost like cement. And people are going to their wheels are going to start turning. It's not cement. It is what happens is over the years, the ground packs in so much with the weather, the water, people walking on it, that you can mix it up. You can, get that ground loosened, but it wasn't, which tells me that outside of the height that they needed for that plant root, nothing else was dug underneath it. So the speculation of, Summer being buried on top of Don's mom just doesn't hold water, based upon what we saw personally being out there. It just doesn't hold water. Was it weird? Did it give you the creeps? Yeah, it did. Because you're looking for a 5-year-old girl and you got this circle on top of it that looks like the size of a 5-year-old girl. I mean, it was, I got to tell you, it creeped me out a bit. But when you really look at it and look at the facts, and even Don's family, cousins, nephews, nieces, and nephews say they were the ones that planted it. So it was we got confirmation from other people that that they did, not Don or Candace. So, and with that that ground being so hard, and if anybody knows about hard grounds, they know what I'm talking about. Like, in order for if it wasn't so hard, then maybe it would be plausible, but it was extremely hard, which means that earth outside of the height of the plant was never touched. It was never disturbed. The ground was never broken up. Otherwise, it would have been a lot softer there. Yeah. All right, let me see. I'm so frustrated with this stupid mouse. His family mother, Tim Mullins. Yeah, we did get a and we did get an interview with Tim Mullen's mom. Hi, Bernice. Thank you. Okay, let's see what we got here. No, I didn't. I will have to go back and listen to it. I'm going to listen to Duty Ron and finish up his with EquiSearch, and then I'm going to, and then I'll go over there to Chris McDonough and watch his. But no, I have not had an opportunity. I was so busy yesterday looking at so many things that I ended up falling asleep super, super early. So I'm late. But good morning, everyone. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning. Good morning. Happy birthday, Olivia. Yeah, don't forget to go over to her channel and tell her happy birthday. She's not in here, I don't think. So, yeah, yeah, that it is. And, it's just, it's weird. And it's like, why are they pushing a narrative, I don't know. I just think they're weird. I just think they're weird. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, I push a narrative too, right? I mean, I think the parents are guilty as hell. So I think the parents are guilty as hell narrative, right? So, let's see, anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Did they find the girl missing from Florida? We have two girls missing from Florida. We have Ruth Sakala. She disappeared on December 15th in Pasco County, Newport Richey primarily. And then we have Paola Miranda Rosa, which disappeared December 18th in Osceola County. And neither one of those women have yet to be found. We do not know what happened to either one of them. Um, we don't know. I can't imagine what anybody would want with a 75-year-old lady. But the family feels that she's still alive, and they believe she's closer than we think. We thought maybe she went back. She didn't really care for Florida. She missed her friends immensely, and we thought maybe she went back to New Jersey, and her family has searched all over New Jersey, and she's not there. So we don't know what happened to her. And I still got to get those interviews out. So we want to bring attention to that. Oh, thank you, Lenny Bean. Yeah, I do. I like certain channels. I like certain channels. My channel's not like them. It just isn't. I don't mind bringing my opinion here. I don't mind saying how I feel. I don't mind any of you guys saying how you feel. I just don't want to tax on other creators and things like that because it just brings a whole mess of other issues that comes along with it. But I don't mind your opinions about cases. And, a lot of the law enforcement hate speculation. They don't like opinions. They stick to facts and everything like that. But in the grand scheme of things, we did go out there and we did talk to people. And whether, some people agree with that strategy or not, it is, we're press. I'm press credentialed. Jonathan Lee Riches is press credentialed, and it allows us to go out there and do that. So we do it. We did, and we do, and it helps us formulate our opinions. We are not law enforcement though. So, we don't arrest people, right? But we do hold the court of public opinion here. Okay. Trying to get through all of these. Let me see how far. Do you think these agencies would do better in offering treatment options? I think that I think parents need treatment. I think some people need to have inpatient treatment on how to be a good parent. Like, you can't leave here until you can demonstrate you can be a good parent. We have a lot of drugs in this country, and I talk about that, about our war on drugs has never helped. We spent god awful monies on the war on drugs, and it just every year seems to be getting worse. And it makes you wonder what the hell they're doing with this money that they're getting. So it's, I think they need to do more about the drug aspect, getting these people clean. But again, I come back to the fact that you cannot, nobody is strong enough to get somebody clean like them wanting to be clean. So until they're ready, there's nothing that us as a society can do to help them except throw them in jail and force them to clean, right? But as soon as they're done with if you don't fix the mental issue of it in jail, when they come out, they're going right back to the same stuff. So, it just, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of figuring out as a society on what we need. But with these drugs penetrating our country and affecting these families at an alarming rate, we as a society need to do something. But what? That's the question. What? Me personally, my focus right now is the children and finding out why in the heck the alphabet soup of child services is losing kids in the system and fixing that. That's the first thing I want to be involved in. The drugs and everything else, and therapies and therapeutics and stuff like that comes second, because the children, the most vulnerable, are the ones being affected by these failed policies of our government and of these bureaucrats that can't seem to get it together. And so I think it's very important that we hold these people accountable and we make effective changes. So with that being said, that would be my primary focus, is to work on something like that, as opposed to therapies for the parents and their treatment options. So and Saint Rocketal, I'm talking about the interior. I can't remember which one it is. I posted it in my community tab several weeks ago. Was somebody came out and they explained all the interiors of the vehicles on the property, and one vehicle primarily appeared to have the interior in which that infamous video of Summer being on those milk jugs was taken. And in all appearances, it appears that it was Don Wells's work truck that was taken in, which calls into question, was Don home at the time? So I'm interested in finding, whether that's accurate or not. It is speculated that he may have been home. And, when I went back and listened to some interviews I've had with Don Wells, he slipped a couple times in several different areas that last time we saw her. And it's like, are those mistakes, or did he actually see her before she disappeared? Was he actually in fact home? Because we've told stuff a little bit different. So anyways, again, today is my friend Olivia, the Chronicles of Olivia's birthday. So if you guys have not had an opportunity to go over to her channel and wish her a happy birthday, please do so. It is her birthday. She is a beautiful, lovely, creative woman that I'm blessed to know. I'm blessed to work with, and I can't wait to work in the future with her. So, but today is her birthday. She's going to a concert tonight, so it's going to be fun. But just don't forget to go over and wish her a happy birthday. And I'm going to go back and put all this stuff together. I need to go back and go through all the interviews. I need to go back and go through some of the things that Don has said to me. I need to go back and get all this stuff and put together in a different way. And it may take me a few days to get that, but I really want to put that in so you guys can really hear it. It's not going to sound good. I can tell you that. It's not going to sound good, especially with him talking about everybody else but Summer, and always trying to redirect me from looking at him to all these other people. And then I go look at these other people and they point right back to him. It's not good. It's not good. And I'm hoping that law enforcement, obviously the one good thing that we can pull off of what happened yesterday is that law enforcement truly, in fact, is still looking into all leads related to Summer Wells. Summer Wells has not been forgotten. A lot of these places, they have so many things that's going on. And trust me, TBI handles a lot of missing person cases. I was actually shocked when I went onto their site and see this child, this person, they deal with a lot. And so I can only imagine that their caseload is quite great. But again, it comes back to, why aren't you putting the parents, in jail and on ice for a little bit, to give you guys some? And there's nothing worse than watching somebody that has caused harm to a child walk free. And even though they can be arrested on something unrelated to Summer Wells, because of the atrocities that have happened up there on that mountain, it makes you wonder why they have not done anything, why they have opted to allow this person to walk freely instead of putting them behind bars like, say, Georgia does, or Virginia, or other states like Florida. They would not be sitting up there for 9 months. I can guarantee that. They would not. They would have been arrested by now for the drugs in the home. They would have been arrested for the filth that they allowed those children to live in, the fact that they were malnourished, did not eat regularly, did not bathe regularly. Those are the types of things that they could have been arrested on and should be arrested on right now, that they have failed. TBI has failed to do so. And it makes you wonder why. Then we go back to us sitting down with this assistant state attorney and her talking to us and her saying, they will be charged for every little thing that they can be charged for at the appropriate time. But, at what point is going to be appropriate to start hitting them up with past crimes? At what point? Because I'm ready to see them in jail until they solve this case. I really am. Let's see. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm getting through all these. Nobody was found, but they believe they found a spot where a body was. How did you, Samantha, if you don't mind me asking, how did you determine this? I'm just curious because, we do speculate a lot, but we also don't want misrepresentation or misinformation. So if it's just somebody's opinion, I'd like to let, folks on this channel know that it's an opinion or speculation. If it's because somebody had boots on the ground and that's what law enforcement said, I'm interested in knowing that as well. Okay, so that's what a creator has said, and not law enforcement. Because let's say law enforcement, I don't know if they would have said that. But you know what? Again, if there was somebody that was out there, boots on the ground, say media was out there and they were lining up, this is where we came across a lot of information in Gabby Petito, because we had somebody with boots on the ground out there. You could hear a lot of the stuff that was going on that was not presented to the public. Media knew about it. So even though they didn't bring it to light, they still knew about it. For example, when they found the belongings, the way it went with, excuse me, I keep hiccuping. I'm not sure why. The way it went for Brian Laundrie is they found the dry bag. That's where they found. And we all know that the parents, were out there and then they went home. I was actually there when they arrived back to the house. And so then we got wind of it, that there was a dry bag, that they found some belongings. We went directly out to the site. And then right shortly after, that was brought to light, then they said, we found them. So we knew that Brian Laundrie's remains were found. And then after the remains were found, we heard about the gun laying in close proximity to the body. But the gun was never brought to the public's attention. Mainstream media never brought it up because law enforcement never confirmed the information with mainstream media. But because we were out there, we knew, because we could hear the radios. There's a lot of law enforcement officers out there. We could hear the stuff on the radios. We could hear the stuff. We had a WJHL. We had WFLA flying the helicopter above, and we were sitting down there with some of the WFLA news reporters. So we knew where kind of the location was for the remains as well. So again, it was, if you weren't out there, you didn't get that kind of detail or that kind of information. So is it possible that somebody was out there and heard this information, even though law enforcement hasn't confirmed it and it hasn't been released through mainstream media? Yes, it is possible, but I'd still like to know where that information come from, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. It's sad. It really is sad. Um, if Ziggy would like to talk to me, I'm happy to provide her at least a glimmer of hope or some resources for her if you guys would like to. I never had a problem with Ziggy. Never did. And even with there were some miscommunications on this team um, related to an incident, and we have since corrected that, and all is well. So I'm happy to help her any way I can. Just let her know she can reach out to me and by email, and I'll share my phone number with her or whatever, and my one of my Google numbers, anyways, so we can just have a chat. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry that she's going through that. It sucks. It sucks. This whole stuff is, there's some brutal people out there, and they try to act like they're not. That something like, for example, it's something I said 3 months ago is the reason why that they feel they can just run all over me for 3 months. It's ridiculous. Is ridiculous. So, and not definitely not a defense whatsoever. Gotcha. Yeah. So lots of information. We don't know really what's fact or fiction. I could tell you that I don't have boots on the ground there, and without me hearing it, I'd have to think that there are some speculative things going on that are really far fetched. I don't know if that is the case. We will find out. I mean, this stuff will eventually come out, but right now, I don't know what they found. I just know they keep searching in and around the Wells home, and that by far is one of the most concerning for me. It paints a picture in my mind as to why they are. So let's see here. Mm. Healing Nature, no information about Paola. We haven't been out there since when I got the blisters. I still have blisters on my feet, by the way. It's still healing on the palm of my feet. It was not good. But we have not been out there. I have not heard any more information. She is still missing at this time, unfortunately. Not fueled, but filed. I gotcha. Let's just keep going. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Kim, it's not immune to Tennessee. I can promise you that. It's not immune to Tennessee. It's everywhere in this country. Everywhere. Everywhere. So, all right, guys. I'm trying to read through here to see if there's any ways. Yeah, I think that's what everybody's hoping for right now. Everybody's kind of really just hoping somebody breaks. It's crazy because we all feel that they're responsible, and we're all waiting for something to break. And I think that's why everybody is watching Candace like a hawk on this YouTube channel. Like, if you can clearly see that they do not have an attorney representing them in this case, because the first thing an attorney would tell somebody like Candace is stay the hell off of YouTube. Do not go on YouTube. Do not speak about this case. And that's the one thing that Candace and Don has always done. They just keep speaking about this case, whether they sound like fools or not, and they keep changing things in their story, which doesn't look good. Their story is not consistent. Fine details keep changing, and those fine details that are changing are the ones that are making issues and problems for them. Like, I don't know, she needs to stay off YouTube if she wants to protect herself. She's not helping herself, I can tell you that. I don't even like her, and I'm giving her advice. So, yeah. There's just something with it, I'm sorry, I listen to, I know EquiSearch and stuff like that. They keep focused on the mission at hand with the children or with the missing. And but you can kind of hear in this you can hear the disdain, that there was some kind of it wasn't all receptive and warm between Dave Ryder and Don Wells, so, and I know when it comes to searching, like Don was adamant about, it's not him, it's not his wife, but when it comes to people going on their property and doing productive searches and looking for Summer, he didn't really want it. He didn't really want the help. He didn't want anything, and I even asked him a few times, Don Wells, of course, how many times do you call law enforcement to find out of the status of the case? And he arrogantly said, whenever I want to. Well, how often is that? We're going to find out that he barely ever calls. Whereas you have somebody like Paola Miranda's family that burns the law enforcement up, once, twice, three times a week, trying to find any information on their sister. And then you got somebody like Don that goes months and months and months without even lifting the phone to find out if there's anything new in his child's case. So in his 5-year-old child's case, their lack of emotions, these are all telltale signs. This I can't cry on cue. Well, you cried when they were talking about the cornbread mafia. Why don't you put some of those tears towards your daughter Summer? I don't get it. I don't get it. Just my opinions. Just my opinions and my speculation. Do I have any more questions here? Good morning. Good morning. Oh, that's sad. I'd like to know who it is. Yeah, I'd like to know who it is. Yeah, and if those would like to support this channel, we are a 100% viewer sponsored channel, and there's only a few ways that you guys can donate to this channel. So one is obviously purchasing stuff from our merch store. Another option is to go back and watch our videos that have advertisements. The advertisements, we're part of the AdSense program, which is free of charge to you, but you do have to watch some ads, right? The other way you can donate is through our Venmo, our Cash App, and our PayPal. That is a way that we get 100% of those proceeds. If you'd like to do super stickers or super chats, please don't hesitate to do that here on these channels and while we're live. That's a great way that you can support me and support this channel. So everybody, we are very blessed to have each and every one of you guys here. If you'd love to support us, there's a multitude of ways that you can. And there's also a monthly membership option with this channel as well, the Join Me option. So we have some, we do have some trolls coming in here. So, whatever, you guys can have your opinions of me, but my thing is, why are you on my show putting stuff in my chat when you don't even like me? It sounds to me, once again, you guys want to take the focus away from Summer Wells, and it makes me wonder why despicable people like you are taking the focus off of a 5-year-old child and helping a 5-year-old child for you to make hideous and insensitive remarks toward me. And not only that, untrue, right? You realize this is untrue, but yet you insist on slandering me. And you actually think I'm not going to be able to find out who you are. That's what's so sick. That's what's so sick. And believe me, I am working on it. All right, guys. Well, with that being said, oh my God. Really? Like, this is a Biden commercial? Give me a freaking break. All right. Well, the loony bins are up out of bed now. It is, I'm surprised that they're up this early, but they are up, folks. So why doesn't family have the boys? Great question. Maybe none of the family can be trusted. Maybe none of the family has the money to take on the boys. They may have put the boys in a safe home because they are, almost protected with witnesses. They might be in a home with law enforcement. We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. I wanted to thank you all, to all of my moderators. Thanks for doing an amazing job. I hope I answered the majority of you guys' questions. We are past 2 hours. Yes, and Siggy, we are giving you our support. What you're going through, you should not be going through. But it's stuff that we all deal with. We all deal with the trolls. We all deal with the stalkers. We all deal with illegal conduct on YouTube. And I really do wish that it would stop. These people don't care. I can tell you the people that are trolling and cyber stalking and cyber bullying don't care about the victims. They can sit there and try all day long to convince you that they care about these victims and we're the bad guys. But in reality, they're the bad guys. So I hope you guys can see through the BS and understand what is truly going on here. And at the end of the day, I think you guys are all beautiful people. Let's rock this out. Let's have a great week. Anybody with any information related to Summer Wells is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. And again, we're asking for all legitimate, information. We do, at this point, speculation, is not necessary. It's not necessary. If you have a reason that an area needs to be searched, tell them why. But you have to, you can't be like halfway across the world and say, I believe it might be this place. You got to have some information. And if you don't have that information, then don't make the call. They are looking at this point for real leads and real evidence. And if you don't have it, don't waste the resources on it. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day and God bless each and every one of you.